People ask me, they say, Sifu, how did you become so fast? How did you get to a point where you were so sensitive of what someone was doing? It seems like you know what I'm gonna do before I do it. And these are just outcomes of many years of what I call the real work. So understanding what the real work is, it's not flashy. It's not exciting, actually. The real work, there's nothing exciting about the real work, because the real work is boring, very boring, and too boring for most. The real work is those reps, those countless reps that you do, that other people think that's insane. Why on earth would you do so many? Why would you spend your time doing that over and over and over again? The rest of the world thinks is just not worthy. But that's the real work. When I was putting in my reps, when I'm thinking throughout the day, you know, where's my elbow, and all these Wing Chun related things. But it's not just about Wing Chun, it's or Kung Fu. It's anything you choose to do. The real work is the most boring thing in the world. And you've got to be willing to be a little crazy, at least what other people might think of you. In order to do that real work, you've got to be obsessed with the real work. And that's what creates greatness. It's the boredom. And overcoming boredom, overcoming it, pushing through boredom. When your mind tells you, okay, that's enough. No, if you want to be great at anything, when your mind tells you that's enough, that's not even a little bit enough. You have got to go beyond that. So that real work is also a promise to yourself, because you know that whatever you're doing is just a means to where you're headed. And you remember that. And you don't say, oh, this is boring. This is boring. These reps are boring. No, there's no such thing as that. There's only what I need to do in order to get to where I'm going. That's it. There's only focus. That's the only thing there is. So when I hear people say, oh, this is boring, that's boring, I'm saying, wait a second. How weak is your mind? Your mind is completely not thinking about where you're headed. You're letting just a little bit of whatever comes into your mind control you. You've got to control your mind. You've got to know where you're headed. And when you do something, whatever it might be, whether it's Kung Fu or anything at all, and you choose to do it, you make a commitment and you say, this is what I'm going to do. And you have integrity to yourself. It's not to anyone else. You have integrity to yourself to do what you set out to do and not quit on yourself. Whatever that activity is, you don't quit on an activity. You quit on yourself because you made a commitment. So understand that the real work is the commitment to yourself. The real work is having integrity when the rest of the world doesn't understand, and you see everyone else in front of you quitting on themselves. And that real work is refusing to do that when the rest can't handle it, because they go this way, they go that way, they're pulled by this shiny thing or this new fad or whatever. And the real work in Wing Chun, specifically, what I've dedicated my life to for close to 30 years, the real work is extremely boring. It's one of the most boring things there is, the real work. The byproduct of that is is something really, really special. Okay? So don't cave in to those immature feelings of boredom, those immature feelings of self-doubt, because that's really what it is. Those immature feelings of boredom and doubt will try to shape themselves into looking at the activity that you're doing and say, this is boring, or start to question, why am I doing this? I could spend my time in a more valuable, worthy place doing something else. But the mature person knows better, because the real work is never exciting to the immature mind. Never, it can't be. The immature mind can't see beyond. They can't see beyond the flashy stuff in front of their face to be able to understand what it's really all about. So if you want to get really good, I'm talking about greatness. I'm not talking about average or whatever. I'm talking about, you want to get really, really good at something. Obsess over it. Obsession is not a bad thing if you're doing something really, really worthy, and and you've chosen to do it for yourself and you know the outcome. Obsession is another term for me for just focus in on what you're actually doing and refusing to give up on yourself. All right, thank you much.